All right, let's kick off this deep dive.
Let's do it.
We're tearing into a film that's generating some serious buzz, partly because it feels like a real departure for Marvel.
Mm,
Thunderbolts, it came out May 2nd, 2025, and, well, it feels like a pretty pivotal moment for the MCU.
it certainly does.
So the big question we're tackling today, I think, is how is Thunderbolts actually working to revitalize the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Especially after, what some people have called a run of mixed receptions lately.
Yeah, and what's really striking here is how Thunderbolts feels almost like a direct response to some of those criticisms,
Right.
It seems specifically designed to bring a fresh angle, a different feel to the franchise.
And the core idea is this team of antiheroes.
Exactly, a team of antiheroes all looking for some kind of redemption. So our mission, really, for this deep dive is to pull out the key insights from the sources we've looked at. Everything from the production choices to the critical buzz it's been getting
Mm-hmm.
to really get why this film feels different and what it might mean for Marvel going forward.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting for me. After that string of, let's say, varied responses to recent Marvel stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Thunderbolts is explicitly being talked about as a way to sort of reignite interest.
Right.
The sources keep highlighting this central theme, flawed anti-hero seeking redemption, and this aim for a darker, more character-driven narrative.
Yeah.
But what does that actually mean for a huge Marvel blockbuster? Like, how gritty can it really be?
Well, if you look at the bigger picture, it signals a pretty deliberate move away from maybe the standard superhero formula.
Oh.
The film tries to achieve this revitalization by really digging into themes of trauma, personal growth, the complexities of what heroism even is.
So less straightforward good versus evil.
Exactly. There's a big emphasis on mental health, the human experience, which is what's really supposed to set it apart. The narrative, it definitely challenges traditional ideas of heroism,
Right.
And it pushes this idea that individuals, no matter how messed up their past is, still have that potential for change, which honestly feels like something a lot of viewers have been asking for.
Okay, so who are these characters then? The ones leading this new direction? It's quite an ensemble, isn't it?
It really is a fascinating group.
You've got Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, and she's the leader, right?
Yep, she's front and center. Then Sebastian Stanback as Bucky Barnes,
Okay.
Gabe Harbour as Red Guardian, Wyatt Russell as John Walker, Hannah John Kamen as Ghost,
Wait, ghosts?
Olga Kurilenko as Taskmaster, Julia Louis-Dreyfus pulling the strings as Valentina Allegra de Fontaine,
Oh, wait.
and Louis Pullman joining as Robert Reynolds, Sentry.
And Yelena's role.
Yeah,
The sources mention her existential crisis,
Yeah.
stemming from the Red Room.
exactly. She's really grappling with those traumatic memories, that whole brutal upbringing. It's central to her character arc here.
And that brings up a key point, doesn't it? How does a massive superhero film actually, effectively tackle these heavier themes? Inner demons, addiction, maybe?
Yeah, it's a challenge. The sources suggest it does this by building really complex relationships and focusing on character development that deliberately moves beyond the usual superhero tropes.
So less quipping, more angst.
Maybe a different balance. These characters apparently evolve from just being, reluctant allies
Mm-hmm.
into something more like a cohesive team,
Okay.
which reflects those themes of trust and ultimately redemption. The story really digs into their individual challenges.
Which makes them more relatable, even with the powers.
Supposedly, yes. It makes them feel more grounded, perhaps more like the characters in earlier MCU films, like, say, Winter Soldier.
Interesting comparison.
And it's fascinating how it apparently shows their past traumas directly impacting their present relationships, their decisions. The sources even mention drawing on real-life trauma recovery ideas from psychologists like Dr. Judith Herman, who talks about how past experiences shape identity, and Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, known for his work on how trauma affects the body and mind.
So, actual psychological grounding.
It seems so. We even apparently see moments like Yelena seeking real guidance from Alexei the Red Guardian, not just comic relief.
Huh. Okay, so it's not just the story and characters marking a change. The way it was made sounds different, too.
Yeah, that's another big piece. A significant shift in production philosophy for Marvel, it seems.
How so?
Well, the film's apparently notable for using a lot of practical effects, which is interesting.
Right. Less CGI reliance.
That seems to be the goal. The director, Jake Schreier, really insisted on a more traditional filmmaking approach. Physical choreography, real location work forming the foundation.
Wow.
Principal photography started back in February 2024 under that funny working title, Oops, All Berries.
Huh. Yeah, I remember that. It almost sounds like they're saying, hey, remember actual stunts? In today's world, that feels kind of refreshing.
It does. And the thing is, these technical choices aren't just for show, right? They're meant to be deeply integrated to really amplify the emotional core.
How do you mean?
Well, visually, it aims for a darker aesthetic. The director of photography, Autumn Durald Arkapaw, she developed specific lighting techniques to keep detail and depth even in low light.
Setting it apart from that typical bright Marvel look.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And digital effects are used more as, like, complements, not the main event.
And the sound.
Advanced sound design, too,
Yeah.
using spatial audio, Dolby Atmos. Think of sound moving around you.
More immersive.
Definitely.
Mm.
Makes tense scenes feel closer, dialogue clearer, especially in IMAX. And the composer, Michael Giacchino, used this technique called harmonic distortion, plus a very raw recording process.
Raw. So less polished, maybe more visceral.
That seems to be the idea. It's all meant to make you feel the story, the character's vulnerability, not just watch it.
Okay, so with all these big changes, characters, story, the making of it, what's the verdict? What's the word on the street now that it's out?
Well, the early signs, based on the sources, are actually quite positive. Surprisingly so, maybe.
Really? Like what?
On Rotten Tomatoes, it landed an 88% approval rating.
Wow. Okay.
Metacritic has a score of 68 out of 100, which is, generally favorable.
And audience scores.
Audiences gave it an A cinema score. Post-track polls showed 4.5 out of 5 stars, and 74% saying they definitely recommend it.
That is strong, especially given, the recent climate for superhero films. It suggests people are connecting with it.
It does. And the critics' consensus specifically mentioned it feeling like a return to the classic Marvel formula, in a way assembling that ragtag band of underdogs,
A Pugh's performance.
highlighted as a standout, which, again, not a huge surprise there.
No. So why does this reception seem so positive then? What's clicking?
It seems tied to how the film apparently handles those themes we talked about, self-doubt, trauma, growth, making these, well, anti-heroes feel relatable.
Right.
And the marketing campaign was pretty interesting, too. Huge budget, estimated $75 to $100 million.
What kind of things did they do?
Fan screenings, partnerships with brands like Wheaties, Harley Davidson, kind of classic stuff, but also some clever moves.
Like
That mysterious first teaser, the Super Bowl trailer, confirming they fight the void.
Sentry's dark side. Yeah. That got people talking.
Definitely. And remember the asterisk in the title? Thunderbolts.
Oh, yeah. What was that about again?
It was later revealed to mean New Avengers, and the film was formally retitled. A bit of a marketing gimmick, but it built intrigue.
Huh.
They even did a specialized trailer for Letterboxd, styled like an indie A24 film.
Seriously? That's unexpected for Marvel.
Very. It shows they were strategically trying to appeal to both the mainstream and maybe a more discerning niche audience, playing with expectations.
So, putting it all together after this whole deep dive.
Yeah.
What does Thunderbolts really mean for the MCU going forward? Is it just another movie or something more?
Well, the sources definitely position it as more than just another entry. It seems presented as a significant evolution, potentially.
With the potential to, what? Reignite interest. Bring back fans who maybe felt a bit fatigued.
And that seems to be the hope, yes. To pull back viewers who might have felt disenchanted by some of the more recent, perhaps less focused releases.
Right.
And looking at the bigger picture, Thunderbolts really seems to showcase how a strong, character-focused story can be boosted by smart technical choices.
Making it stand out.
Exactly. Making it a standout entry, especially during what some have called a more fragmented phase for the franchise.
It challenges the idea of simple heroism, too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
By showing these deeply flawed people trying to do better, it reinforces that idea that, complex individuals can be heroes, can be role models in their own way.
Kind of reminds you of the early MCU appeal, the humanity behind the powers.
Precisely. It feels like a callback to those foundational elements. So yeah, it genuinely seems to have the potential to redefine some character dynamics and maybe influence where superhero stories go next.
Wow. Okay, what a deep dive that was.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there.
We've really uncovered how Thunderbolts seems to be aiming for a fresh start for the MCU. Not by ditching its roots, but by going deeper, embracing a darker tone, more grounded feel, and really making the production style serve that story.
It's quite the undertaking.
It definitely is.
Which kind of leaves us with a big question, maybe for you listening.
Yeah.
As these superhero stories keep changing and evolving, how do you think this focus in Thunderbolts on redemption, on trauma, on that messy journey from anti-hero to hero How might that shape what we expect from blockbusters now?
Mm,
What does it mean for the future of these characters, or even how teams are formed in this huge, sprawling universe?
that is a really big question to chew on. Food for thought.
Definitely.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Thunderbolts.